y'all. Welcome to the first ever episode of Coming Into Bloom. I am the owner and operator of The Flower Shed, and today I have with me
Caitlin Yeomans.
Okay, so this is very exciting. This is our first ever episode, and so we decided that in this little introduction, we are just going to kind of tell you guys who we are. So I am Lisa. I own and operate The Flower Shed. I have 2 kids. I don't know if I should be talking to the camera or you. It's so weird. I have 2 kids. My oldest is 12. The youngest is 11. Is that right? Yeah. That's Sometimes I forget.
We're off to a great start.
We are. Let's see what else. I'm 37 years old.
You're old.
I'm very old, which we will get into that later. I've been married for 12 years to my husband, Brent, who operates Rolling Branch Farms, but Rolling Branch Farms and The Flower Shed as a whole is 100% woman-owned. Let's see. I've got some notes here in front of me, so I'm trying to go through. A strange habit or interesting fact. So I have, I guess just one would be my ears have never been pierced.
Yeah.
I've never had pierced ears before. And it's not because I'm scared, because, I've had 2 kids, and I used to be a surge tech. So that was the assistant to the surgeon in an operating room. I don't know why I never got them done.
You can tell that she's never got them done because one of my first weeks on the farm working here, I lost an earring, and she sent me a picture of like a bolt.
Oh, I did.
And she was like, "Is this your earring?" I was like, "No."
I forgot about that. I thought it was the back to an earring, and it was like a washer size. Yeah. She was like, yeah, that's not what the back of an earring looks like. So anytime that I've ever had to wear earrings, I have used clip-ons. And so I just think that's very strange but interesting because most people have their ears pierced.
Yeah, I have my lobes, I have my conch and my nose pierced.
What is a
love
conch?
Piercings. That's the one that I'm lost the back to it.
Oh, okay.
It's like in the middle of my ear.
See, this is...
It made a crunch when I got pierced.
This is part of the Gen Z versus millennial. You're Gen Z, right?
Yeah, Gen Z.
So, you'll get into that in a minute, so I'll finish up. Let's see. So that's the interesting fact about me. And a favorite show that I am currently watching is definitely The Handmaid's Tale.
Absolutely.
It just came out, season 5. We're on season 5?
I think so.
Yeah. So I'm currently watching that, and then I just finished up Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Of course you did.
And I love that one, and I also love the Atlanta franchise. And then, I started The Watcher.
Oh, never heard
Netflix.
of that one. Okay.
It is very interesting. Like, it's a thriller, I guess. And I'm only in episode 4, and we will not ruin any TV show things. We won't say very much about it, but so far it has been really good. I really enjoyed that show. I'm interested to see where they go with it. So that's a little bit about me, and now I'm going to let Caitlin tell y'all about her and how old she is.
Because I'm not old. I'm just a baby in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
My name's Caitlin. I'm 21. I am currently a college senior, and I graduate in May, and I'm so excited. I'm an agriculture communications major, so basically writing and communications, just with the focus in agriculture. And being in that major led me to work here for the farm. I don't really know what my title is here, but
I don't think we've ever given you one.
I self-identify as a brand manager, but
there you go.
I don't know.
I think that's perfect because that is mostly what you do. Is you've put us on the map for social media, and brought us here eventually to the podcast world. So yeah, I think that's a great title.
Yeah, good. We'll stick with that then. I am very big into adoption and rescue. I have 2 rescue pups and a rescue kitty. They are the loves of my life.
And what are their names?
So I have a brindle doggy. His name is Aldine, but we call him Beanie. And then I have a German Shepherd-y mutt. Her name is Elena, but we call her Lainey. And then a tabby cat, and his name's Tot. So we have Bean, Lainey, and Tot.
And Aldine is after Jason Aldean, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
That's really cool. I really like Jason Aldean, and he's from Georgia.
He is from Georgia.
Actually, he's from Macon, Georgia, which is
pretty
even
close.
closer to my hometown, which is Hawkinsville.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay. An interesting, strange habit about me, I am very much addicted to sunflower seeds. I eat them all the time. Like, I get a pack a day, like
Wow.
smokers smoke a pack a day. Very
That's
obsessed. It started back when I played softball, and it just never stopped.
So what position did you play?
Mostly
softball?
second base.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
because I was pitcher.
Okay, girl.
Yeah, but I only played, so I played a lot in my like elementary school years, I
Me too.
guess. And then when I got into middle school, I played sixth grade softball and I pitched, and then I kind of gave it up after that.
No,
But-
that's exactly my story
oh,
too.
really? Oh, wow. What'd you do after softball? Anything?
I got put in an agriculture class on accident.
wow.
And so it was a family friend taught the ag class, and she was like, join FFA. And I did not even know what that meant. So
Wow.
I joined FFA and learned about ag. And so many years later, now I'm here.
There- and here you are.
In your dining room.
In my dining room, yes, we are. If you like video components to podcast, we are actually recording this on video for our YouTube channel. So you can find this podcast at on YouTube. You can search The Flower Shed, and it should pop up. So wish us luck. Fingers crossed we did it all right with the technology that goes behind putting together a podcast. But if you want to see what we look like, if you don't know, and if you want to watch us do this, it is available on YouTube. So, all right. So, is that all your introduction stuff you've got there?
I guess the other thing is I'm also currently watching The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, yeah, the shows. Okay, you are.
Lisa showed me The Handmaid's Tale. She's like, you have to
Yes.
watch this. And it gives me so much anxiety every single episode,
does.
but I'm so hooked. I could never not watch it.
Yes, it is definitely not a happy show. So if you're looking for something to boost your mood, do not watch The Handmaid's Tale. I have to be in a certain mind frame to even sit down and watch that.
Yes.
It's definitely dark, not kid friendly
No.
at all. And most of you, I'm sure, have probably seen it. And if you haven't, definitely check it out. It's a very interesting show. Just not something you want to watch if you're looking to be in a good mood afterwards.
Yeah, the episodes come out weekly, and sometimes I feel like I need 2 weeks to decompress from the episodes.
It's definitely one of those shows that you will be thinking about
Yes.
for a couple of days.
Yep.
And what other show do you watch?
The only reality TV show I watch is Big Brother, so I watch every season of Big Brother. You started it this season, but then you kind of gave up halfway
I
through.
did. I only saw like the first episode, and I think it was because of the trial.
Yeah.
I don't have, is it CBS?
Paramount. I think they're on Paramount now.
I don't have either of those streaming services. So yeah, I watched, did the free trial, watched one episode, and then didn't get to watch the rest of it. But I do love Big Brother. I'm
Yeah.
a longtime Big Brother fan. I've definitely watched it over the years. So it's a really good show too. All right, so we are going to get into, now that you know who we are going to talk about why we have decided to do a podcast. So to me, I've never really been a big fan of wanting to do my own podcast. I am definitely an avid podcast listener for sure.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
me too.
a lot of fun podcasts that I like to listen to, but me doing one was definitely never in the cards for me. However, Brent, my husband, has done podcasts with Young Farmers Coalition and some other organizations, and you can hear my computer going off there. And so anyways, he has always wanted to do a podcast, and I've always just dismissed it. I'm like, I don't want to do that, no. And then my friend from high school, well, actually, Caitlin, you've talked about doing podcasts for the business, right?
I've mentioned it to you before.
And we haven't really like sprung into action, but then one of my very good friends from high school has her own podcast that she started, and I listened to her do the first episode, and I was like, okay, we're doing this. And then a week later, here we are.
Literally
So-
a week later, Lisa texted me and she said, what do you think about doing a podcast? And I was like, Lisa, you're the only one who doesn't have a podcast.
That is true. And that was the one thing, like when you said that, I was like, you know what? She's right. Because my whole thing was, who's going to listen? Nobody cares. But everybody has a podcast.
Yes.
There's so many out there. There's so many different things to listen to. I mean, I feel like you could definitely pique the interest of some people. So yeah, we in 1 week
Yes.
literally got all of the equipment, got everything set up. We've done a lot of research on how this all works and how it gets into the podcast world. But I felt like we should do this because this is definitely a raw and uncut sit down, I guess, with us. And it's not specifically going to be about flowers, but I felt like it was definitely pulling the curtain back a little bit on our personal lives and as well as the business. And then also it's just a very effective way to market our business and our products.
For sure.
We have a lot of things online, which we'll get to that in a minute, but it's a great way for you to be able to make that connection to the farm and the people that produce the products that you're buying. So that was one of the main reasons of why we decided to do this podcast. But we are going to jump into something a little fun here. So this is a little section or segment, I guess you would call this, Gen Z versus, I wouldn't really say versus, but
Yeah.
Gen Z and millennial
Culture?
yeah,
Identity?
I think that would be good. So we've decided that this is going to be on every podcast. We definitely want to bring in stuff that my generation knows and things that Caitlin's generation knows, because just working together, we have found that there are things that we say and do and people we know and clothes we wear they're very different, because my husband pointed out to me the other day that Caitlin could be my child if I had had her at 16.
Yes, yes.
Oh, that probably wasn't a good idea. Beating on the table. I don't know if y'all heard that or not. But yeah, Brent brought that up to me and I was like, thank you. I did not need to know that. But I thought this would be a fun little segment. So the first thing, so the other day we were talking about different ideas for the podcast, like what we were going to talk about, all these different subjects. And I don't even remember how I said that, like how this came up, but I said something about Cameron Diaz. And like I said, I'm 37. So if you're around that age, you know who Cameron Diaz is. And Caitlin did not know who that was. And so she asked me if I knew who Cameron Dallas was. And I said, no, I don't. So I said, save it for the podcast. We're gonna talk about it on the podcast. So that's what we're gonna talk about today on the Gen Z versus, I hate to keep saying we gotta come up with a better name. Oh gosh, I just knocked over the microphone. I talk with my hands, so if you're watching on YouTube, you'll definitely see it. But so on the Gen Z millennial segment here, I am bringing to the table Cameron Diaz. And for those of you who don't know who she is widely known for romantic comedies. One of the most popular ones was Something About Mary. And I can't say on this particular podcast why that movie was so, maybe when we cut the recording I'll tell you, but there was a very significant moment in Something About Mary that made Cameron Diaz very famous.
Okay.
And then I think her breakout movie was The Mask. But then she was also in My Best Friend's Wedding, which I feel like happened before The Mask. Have you seen either of those?
No.
Okay. She was also in Charlie's Angels. You know Charlie's Angels?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, gosh. She doesn't even... Oh, Charlie's Angels. Okay.
I would just like to put a disclaimer out there. I am not a movie buff. I don't watch them all the time, and I don't think I can speak for every Gen Zer out there.
Right.
But,
well, and I will say, we were talking about this too, that back in my day, we didn't have social media.
Back in your day.
Back in my day, we didn't we had dial-up internet, so the only thing to do was to go to the mall or the movies. And I lived in a small town. We didn't even have a mall or a movie theater, so it was a real treat, to go to the theater.
Hopkinsville.
Yeah, there was none of that there. So I think my generation definitely, maybe I may be speaking out for this may not be the case, but I feel like my generation probably watched more movies than they do now.
Yeah.
Because now I'm definitely a TV person.
Definitely.
I don't watch movies anymore.
I've always had pretty much the option to watch a TV show, record it, go back and watch it. I've never had to really sit and wait on an episode, or if I miss it, I just miss it.
Right. So back
I'm very
in
on
when,
demand.
when I was, I guess I would have been at elementary age. I feel like by middle school, the whole stopping in the middle. But we used to record our TV shows on VHS. You had to set the recorder.
I've heard of that.
And put the VHS in, record the show, and then you got to come back and watch the VHS. So if you did it wrong, you missed the show. But that was the only way to do it. I do remember like back in the day when that was like the only possibility. So that's crazy that
I've
it's
never
been
had
like
to
that
go
your
through
whole
that.
life.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's see, what else about Cameron Diaz? Oh, she was in this movie called Bad Teacher, which is hilarious.
Is that a recent movie?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because my little southern accent's coming out, which I'm sure that'll be in an episode too. She retired in 2018. Cameron Diaz did. So she's no longer doing any movies. So I think Bad Teacher was probably way before 2018. But it's hilarious. It is so funny, and it's definitely not kid friendly.
Okay.
But she also did Shrek, which was her highest grossing movies. She was in every single one. She was Fiona.
Was she?
She's the voice.
Oh, okay.
She's the voice of Fiona. And then, she retired in 2018, and her very last movie was Annie. Do you remember when they remade Annie?
I do.
Recently?
Yeah.
So she's
the new Annie.
The new Annie.
Okay.
Yes, that was her last movie.
I've seen it.
And she is 50 years old today.
Today's her birthday?
Well, not today.
Oh.
I meant in 2022.
Gotcha.
She's 50 years old. So that's crazy to me because she had to have been in her 20s. When I was watching her. So anyways, that's Cameron Diaz. Now, you tell me who Cameron Dallas is.
Okay, so let's all think back to middle school Caitlin. She gets on this little app called Vine, which Lisa did not know what this app was when I brought it up to her.
I didn't know.
Basically, it was like the TikTok before TikTok or Musical.ly was a thing. And it was like square videos. The screen was not like your full phone. It was just square videos.
Wow.
And they're like 6 or 7 second long videos. So they're super fast. And basically just be like really short comedy bits. And so this kid, Cameron Dallas, got famous for just like pulling pranks on his friends.
And this is a boy or a girl?
A boy.
This is a boy. Okay.
Yep.
So he was famous for pranks. Okay.
Like comedy bits. And then because he kind of got famous on Vine, I think he was maybe like at one point the 8th most followed Viner. I feel like I read that somewhere.
Okay.
And him and people like Nash Greer, they all became really good friends. And then they all became part of MagCon. Do you know what that is?
I don't. What is MagCon?
It's Meet and Greet Convention.
Oh,
so it's a convention where they all get together and you can pay tons of money to just go meet them.
So YouTubers.
Basically,
okay,
yes.
Okay.
But they were like a Viner group.
And does this still go on today, the MagCon?
I'm not sure. I don't know. But
Okay.
definitely the Viners are way past their prime. And now if they're on TikTok, they have their niche, but they're not big like they were when they were on Vine.
Wow.
I do know that he won a couple of Teen Choice Awards.
Okay.
I remember watching those like in middle school, like, oh my gosh, Cameron, waiting for him to win. He would get nominated and then he would win.
Wow. Now, I do remember the Teen Choice Awards. That was definitely around, in my day.
I think it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And he has his own movie called Chasing Cameron that was like a documentary type movie about him and his life. I think it's on Netflix. And then he was in a movie called Expelled where he was like the main protagonist character. And then The Outfield, which he was with like Nash Greer and some other MagCon boys.
Okay. So he had a movie career then after
for
his
a little bit,
little Vine, I guess, stint.
Yeah,
What'd you call it? Yeah.
Once Vine was done, he went into modeling and I think he even has an music album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of music is it?
I have no idea.
Wow.
After like 9th grade, I'd never heard of him again.
So When I was growing up, the heartthrob was JTT. Have you ever heard of him? Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
I was about to say Justin Timberlake.
Oh gosh, no, that's JT. JT.
Oops.
But Jonathan Taylor Thomas was on Home Improvement. He was one of the kids on the TV show, and I thought he was the bee's knees.
Yeah,
okay?
I've seen Home Improvement. That's a good show.
He was the middle kid.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the middle kid with the bowl cut, and he was in a ton of Disney movies. Lion King.
Gotcha.
What else was he in? Man of the House, Tom and Huck. I can't remember anymore. But anyways, I thought he was it, honey. Yes. So that was my Cameron Dallas,
yes.
I guess. When you said ninth grade, I was probably in 7th or 8th grade.
It was like middle school, and then after 9th grade. Who is he? I don't know anymore.
I wonder what he's doing today.
I heard that he had he came out about some addiction problems. Maybe he got arrested a few times.
That seems to be the story for all child actors.
Yeah.
Is they go through like Macaulay Culkin. You know who that is?
Yes, he's kind of
Home Alone.
Yeah, he's kind of ugly.
I was about to say, please don't tell me I am this old.
Like now he looks busted.
Yes.
Poor kid.
Yes. But that does seem to be the running theme for child stars, I guess you would say. Okay, so that is our little Gen Z millennial chit chat for the day. So we're going to move on to the business. So as I said earlier, the business is Rolling Branch Farms. The flower shed is more or less my portion of it, but I own it as a whole. So Brent, my husband, farms the pecan and citrus side of Rolling Branch Farms, and then I am in charge of all of the marketing, all of the sales, all of the packaging, all of the UPC coding, food safety regulations, all of those wonderful things, paperwork wise, I guess, is what I do for his side of the business. He has 100 acres of pecans and 27 acres of citrus that are in operation right now as we speak. We are in harvest season for those. And then my side of the business, the flower shed, is about 2 acres of cut flowers. And I solely do that myself with Caitlin. And Caitlin came on this past summer and did a lot of the hands-on work. And then I was in charge of it as a whole. And then once she went back to school, her role kind of shifted more into the marketing side of things. So then she takes care of Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, and I still help every now and then. But Caitlin is definitely the one that has pushed the Instagram account up to the 2,000 followers, 11,000 followers, 11.6 I think on TikTok. I think 1.2 on Facebook. 1,200 on Facebook. Anyways, it was not like that when Caitlin started. TikTok had kind of taken off a little bit. I think we were at 5,000, and then when she came on board, it just kind of exploded for us. So the flower shed is, I would say, year round. I mean, next year,
for sure.
I definitely think we've learned our lesson this year. We will have flowers until Thanksgiving, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, people want them.
They want them, and it will grow here, which we'll get into what type of climate we're in a minute. But the flower shed starts seeding season, is what I like to call it, January until I'd say April. Well, no, seeding season really goes into July.
Yeah, we can seed all summer.
We're just solely focused on seeds and seeding flowers January to about April. And then this year we have decided to do, fingers crossed, Valentine's Day. I have a greenhouse.
You're putting it out there. Now you have to follow through.
I have to follow through. We have a greenhouse for the first time, which is a huge game changer. So all of our Valentine's stuff will be grown in that greenhouse, and I'm projecting 100 bouquets, and hopefully that is a lot. That is a lot.
Do you hear her? She is putting it out there.
This time last year, I would not have been confident in saying we could even accomplish that, but I definitely think we can do it this year.
With the greenhouse.
Yes, for sure. And all of the
And this will now be your
knowledge.
5th growing season?
Yes, going into my 5th growing season. And then Mother's Day is huge.
Oh, for sure.
That's when we have our first big crop of flowers. We sell all of our bouquets Mother's Day weekend. We do a ton of business there. And then we start deliveries to a grocery store in Atlanta every Thursday. And so that's when things really start picking up, is June, July, August, September. We are harvesting on Mondays and Tuesdays, packing on Wednesdays, delivering on Thursdays. And then recently we just opened up a flower U-Pick. So on Fridays we are getting all of that jazz together. And on Saturday we're open for the U-Pick. So I would say this past year, June to October, we've been running 6 days a week. And then we've closed the U-Pick at this year. We're closed, so we're not open anymore, but we were open on Saturdays from 9 to 1. And then we've transitioned over into a Pecan and Satsuma U-Pick, open from 9 to 1. Probably until November 12th, I think is what we said.
Yep, November 12th.
And so the flower side of things kind of dies down right now, and then pecan and citrus picks up, and that's where we get focused on online sales and holiday sales and all the things. But next year, I think our U-Pick will definitely be open until Thanksgiving, because we know we can do it now. Yeah. I think we'll still shut our deliveries down in maybe October, but I definitely think next year you will be able to do U-Pick from June to end of November, and then we'll just have a couple months to pretty much reset, and then we'll do it all over again. So that is kind of the business as a whole. Do you want to give them a little some stuff, things that you've experienced as far as the season and how the business works, or your internship maybe this past summer?
Technically I started at Rolling Branch, the flower shed, as a agriculture communications intern, and that sounds like a really big title, but basically I was in the field working, pulling weeds, losing weight, sweating,
starving, no bathroom breaks.
No, none of that. So it was a lot of field work, but then at the end of the day, once it got really hot, because it's South Georgia, it's very hot, I would come inside and work on social media. So I helped a lot with reels. We try to post a reel every day. Started working on TikTok, just engagement overall, replying to comments, messages. Then I started back up their newsletter, which we can link right here.
That is so crazy so we had a newsletter before Caitlin, but I think there was less than 100.
There was maybe 70 people.
The newsletter has shocked me so much. So many people sign up, because when you go to our websites, which you'll hear it at the end of this podcast, or how to get to our websites, but when you get there, it asks you to sign up for the newsletter, and so many people get that newsletter. And let me tell you, it is jam-packed. She does such a good job on it. It has I love the links. There's links to our reels. There will be links to shopping and
the podcast.
She just jam packs it, and it's such a good read. I mean, if you're not signed up for the newsletter, you definitely need to check that out. But that was really cool, because now there's almost 300, I think.
Yeah, almost 300 subscribers.
Yeah, so that is really cool.
And then I started August the blog on the Flower Shed's website. Yes. So as a writing and comm major, I write a lot for school, so might as well put that into work.
Absolutely.
Lisa doesn't really read my blogs, so if you want to go on there and hear the nitty-gritty behind the scenes that she doesn't read about.
Yeah, she talks really bad about me over there on the blog, and I have no idea. No idea what she talks about. No, I have read a couple of them, the ones that you've sent me the links to. But I will say, so I can't speak for the blogs, but I can definitely say the newsletter is awesome. I mean, it looks legit. For so long, I guess I felt our business and farm was not legit, because most of our family and friends don't really take it seriously, and I don't think they get it.
No, they don't.
And now it's this whole year I keep saying we're legit.
You have a podcast.
This is legit.
This is legit.
I'm running a real business here. So this is the first year, which is my 4th growing season, and I would say probably 10 or 11 years doing pecan and citrus.
Yeah.
And I finally feel like we're legit. So
I mean, you're making it.
I know.
And then last week I logged into our Pinterest, and now we've got that going.
That's right. So she started the Pinterest boards, like updating it and making it all cute for the flower shed. So you definitely need to, if you're on Pinterest and you need like flower, I guess, ideas or whatever, you can search. It's the flower shed,
Yep,
not
flower
the,
underscore shed.
Oh, the flower underscore shed is our name on there. And we'll put all of those tags at the end of this podcast too. But so we grow everything. We get this question a lot. We grow everything sustainably. And to us, that means we're growing it, and if we have to use a chemical, we will, but organic is definitely our go-to. And for the most part, I would say we are probably 95% organic as far as sprays and things that we put on flowers and pecans and citrus. We don't use a wax on our citrus. So we are definitely sustainably grown, and we don't say that lightly, because I know some farms can say that and they're still out there spraying stuff, but they're really conventional. We are really sustainable. We are definitely going to try it organic first. And if it doesn't work, then it's our livelihood at stake. So obviously we're going to use what we have to use. So we can't say that we're 100% organic, but we are definitely very close. And me and Brent have done a lot of research and worked with a lot of different companies on trying to get to 100% organic. So I definitely think it's in our future. It's a very long process to get 100% organic, but I'm happy with where we're at right now as far as sustainably grown. So that's what it means for me as a farm owner. I can't speak for everyone in the farming world, because I think that word means something different, depending on who you're talking to. But you can purchase any of our, right now we have Satsumas for sale, and later on this year we will have a lot of different varieties of citrus, but you can purchase anything as far as citrus or pecans goes online at rollingbranchfarms.com. We also have the U-Pick open till November the 12th from 9 to 1. You can come and pick up your own Satsumas or your own pecans, and you can trade your, let me see if I get this right, in-shell pecans for shelled pecans. That's right.
It feels backwards, but that's correct.
That's why I'm always like, am I saying it right? You can turn those in at the end of the U-Pick if you would rather have the shelled option. And then you can find our citrus in several grocery stores in Atlanta. And then as far as seasons go, I would say this is year round. I mean, we're not producing a product year round, but there's a lot of behind the scenes that goes into it. So I would definitely say the season, flower season is going to start next week technically, as far as seeding goes. And then, like I said, we're in Satsuma and pecan harvest season right now, and that usually goes until about February. So what I don't like to happen is for all the crops to do this. You can't see me, but YouTube can. I don't like for them to all jumble up together and then we have, yes, it is. We've got 2 kids. We've got all these crops going. I mean, it's the holidays, so everybody wants you at all these events, and it's like, there's only one person.
And before, you didn't have anyone like me helping you with the marketing side, the websites and stuff. You had to, take your kids to work all day, go pick them up, get them started on homework, and then you had to do all the stuff that now I'm able to do. Right. So I think you're slowly
and online packing.
Out. Oh my gosh.
I know Caitlin has been a game changer, and if you have messaged me on Facebook or Instagram or any of those platforms and think that you are getting
Lisa.
me 9 times out of 10 you are actually speaking with Caitlin. So I don't really get on my personal any of my personal social media. I'm strictly on my business sites most of the time when I'm on there. So if you're sending like messages and stuff, just beware. It's Caitlin usually that's getting them.
But of course, if it's a very specific to Lisa question,
Right.
I always let her know and she responds. So
Yes.
don't always think it's me, but
Right.
sometimes it really is.
If she ever says anything wrong or mean, it was her, not me.
Okay, for sure. I want to jump back to the sustainably grown for
Yeah,
a second, if you're okay with that.
absolutely.
So I've been on a lot of farms, I feel like, with my degree and my past in FFA. And a lot of times you just don't see bugs, which is like the main goal for farmers because you want to keep pests off your crop and stuff. But a lot of times you don't see any good bugs either because, they scare them away with their pests or pesticides, whatever. But here, people come up every weekend, undoubtedly. There's a person that comes up and says, look at this butterfly that I saw.
Yes.
Look at this bee that I saw. And I think that has to definitely go in with how much care that y'all put into your crop, being sustainably grown, trying to be as organic as you possibly can, and really caring about your property. And
Yeah. And then we had a customer, it was, I guess, a couple weeks now, but she came and said, y'all have monarch
Hawkins bee.
monarch butterflies out there, which are considered extinct, I think.
endangered?
Right? Endangered, not extinct.
Not
If they
extinct.
were extinct,
They wouldn't be
out
here.
Anyways, we can't
Yeah.
see, this is the raw, uncut part that we're talking about. We can't edit this out.
No,
So
it's just what it is.
Yes, endangered. Thank the Lord I have a college student next to me. But yes, we do. We have several of them actually out in the flower fields. And right now, even though the flower you pick is closed, the flowers are still out there.
Buzzing.
They're still growing. And we've just kind of left it up for the bugs because there are beneficial insects in farming, and that our flower field, our U-pick field, backs up to our pecan orchard. So all of those beneficial insects that are coming into the flower fields are also over there for the pecans.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win situation.
It is,
you know?
absolutely. And people love it. They love the pictures they get of the
They
the
do.
pollinators.
I think a lot of people come to the U-Pick for pictures.
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
I mean, because a
The
lot of
photo
them
op.
will be dressed so cute,
Yes.
like in all these cute little dresses and stuff. And I'm like,
We're in our Buc-ee's t-shirts.
Yes, I'm always in a Buc-ee's
She
t-shirt.
is.
If you have been to the flower you pick and I have been working that day, definitely you have probably seen me in a Buc-ee's t-shirt. Okay, so we're going to go on into the location of the farm. So we are located in Naylor, Georgia, which is about 18 miles outside of Valdosta, Georgia. It's very close to the Florida line, and our zone here is 8B, and it is very unique.
Is that,
To
I
say
don't
the
know
least.
anything about zoning. So give me, what does that mean?
Okay, so zone 8B means that the average minimum winter temperature here is 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which I feel is a little false.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know that we see the 20s.
No.
I mean, we may, but it's
Not this far south.
Yeah. We don't get snow. We have, but that is not common.
And if anything,
in
it's
this
probably
zone.
flurries rather
Right,
than like
right.
snow.
We do get frost,
Yeah, oh, for sure.
but not snow. And I guess we have had weather in the 20s, I'm sure maybe at night.
Yeah.
But like right now, well, we are recording this podcast. Let's see what Halloween is Monday. So
Today's the 28th.
so it's the 28th of October, and it's like in the mid 60s, and this afternoon it will be in the 70s.
Literally, the temperature change here is insane, but I don't really feel like we get frost a lot.
No,
And I'm
no.
from Jacksonville, so a little bit further south, but completely east. And yeah, we have about, I would say, the same type of climate.
Oh yeah, like I would really like to talk to any flower farmers down in Orlando or Miami.
Yes.
If you guys somehow hear this podcast, please send us an email because I have so many questions.
Yeah, come join an episode of the podcast.
Yeah, that
We'd
would
love
be
to
really
have you.
cool. Yes, that is such a great idea. If you are listening and you are a flower farmer and you are very, very south of Florida, then yeah, we have questions. Send help.
Send all the help.
But also in zone 8B, the plants can withstand a minimum range of temperatures between 10 and 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So that really allows us to be, year round. I mean, if we want it to
Basically.
be. The only time that we really have to worry about stuff freezing as far as flowers go is in that January, February month. And then it's only like, tonight the ground's going to freeze. So we have to run out there and put frost cloth on everything. But this year we're going to have a system. We will. So last year, I had tulips out there, and my goal was to get the tulips for Valentine's Day. Didn't work out. They were there for Mother's Day, but not Valentine's Day. Anyways, a frost came, I'd say, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times last year. And every time me and Brent had to go out there in all those tulips, put frost cloth over them, dig dirt, because we didn't have any way to keep the frost cloth down. It was very windy. So we had to dig dirt piles and put them on the edges of those big old things of frost cloth in the freezing cold. So we will not be doing that this year. We will have a tunnel system. Good. And we will be way more prepared for when it does decide to do the little frost every now and then when it does. But this zone is I just say unique. It's not ideal for cut flowers, and I have to be very careful of what I put in the ground. I cannot grow I'm trying to think of some of the fun stuff that people grow. Dahlias is really not something I ever want to touch. I see some of the farmers in North Georgia. It seems like a nightmare to me. They do it, and they do it well. I don't think I could do it down here. They would just get eaten up, and that's a very popular flower. I don't know. I'm trying to think of other flowers. Campanula, I think is how you say it. We should do a podcast of how to say some of these flowers. But that one, it grew, but man, was it diseased down here. And we just couldn't fight it. And so what I do every year is I plant a certain variety or a certain flower, and then if it does well and we can keep the disease off of it, which that's our number one concern being down here in the heat, then it gets put on the list for next year. Right. But if it doesn't do well and the disease is just, growing and spreading into the other beds, then it gets knocked off the list. So that leaves us with a very limited variety of flowers that we can grow. And another thing that I will say is I do not know information on houseplants. Okay? Like, I'm a flower farmer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if your snake plant or your fiddle leaf, is that what it's called? If that stuff is dying, I don't know how to help you. Also, if you have peonies or roses, I don't know anything about those.
All the time people message us, I have this rose bush in my front yard and it's not blooming this year. What is wrong? And we're like, girl, we're cut flowers. I don't know.
Right. Like, that's not, if it's not a flower we grow, we have no idea. Just because we grow flowers does not mean we know everything about plants. I didn't even go to school for this. I mean, I went to a 6-week, crash course, I guess you would say.
About flower farming.
And so, I don't know about any houseplants. I don't know about your hydrangeas. I wish I did. I can tell you about your zinnias or your cosmos, celosia, amaranth, snapdragon, globe amaranth. I can tell you anything about all of those. But if I'm not growing it, I don't know. I do not know.
Some of them that we grow, we still don't know.
That's true. We're still learning because it's only I just finished my 4th growing season, and so I'm still learning. But just because you grow cut flowers, please keep in mind you are not a houseplant expert, and you're also not a plant expert in general.
You have a succulent over there that's been dying for months, so
let's not play that out.
Let's move on, right?
That's hilarious. Okay, I have to get a sip of water.
Me too.
Sorry, it's going to be interesting to see what sounds pick up on this mic. Okay, so we're going to move on to what will this podcast be about? Well, I feel like we've kind of defined that a little bit during this whole episode. But flowers will definitely be discussed like it was in this episode. And so will farm life and things going on the farm. But we're not going to focus on that. We like to bring, this is more of the raw, uncut.
Just being funny.
Yeah, just being us and sitting down and having a conversation with you as the listener. And you just really getting to know the people behind the flowers or the people people behind the U-Pick, so that when you come,
Or behind the DM that you sent to Lisa, and it's not her.
That's right. So if you decide to journey over here, because we have had people from California and South Carolina.
Last weekend, someone
Yeah.
drove like 8 hours just to come to our U-Pick. I was literally blown away.
Yes,
I could not
And
speak.
this summer we had
California and a Colorado couple.
Yes, and that is what is the cool part about this is that we advertise the U-Picks and we do a lot of local advertising, but we push automatic advertising, I guess you would say.
Yeah, sometimes we really do.
Yeah, into social media world, and then it's amazing the people that come and do it. Like they come and do the U-Pick because it's not available where they live
Yeah.
or whatever. So that has been the really cool part about all of this. But we will definitely keep you up to date with what's happening on the farm and what's going on with flowers and when we launch new products and where you can buy it and stuff like that. But this is going to be more about our lives and TV shows we're watching and just things that happen to us personally, I guess you would say. And then we are also going to have a few guests join us. I definitely want to have my husband Brent. It will probably be more like is it NPR? Is that what you
Yes.
call it? It'll probably be more of
So boring. All right, guys, I'm outside and we are.
So I definitely want to have him on. He is very intelligent.
He is
I will
very
say.
smart.
He's very, very smart, like way too smart for me. So anyways, we will definitely bring him in. This is something he has wanted to do for a very long time. So he will be a guest on the show, and then we'll definitely do an episode with my kids, I think, because what's going to happen is in the next couple of months, Caitlin, Caitlin will be on the majority of the episodes
Yeah.
that you hear.
Nice little co-host.
But we are going to bring in some women in business, some other women that own businesses here in the area. But the holidays are coming up. We decided to start this podcast
Right
during the
at the
holidays.
holidays.
So that's probably when you will hear my husband Brent or the kids come on because
I live an hour away.
That's right. She is in Tifton, and you're not from Tifton.
Right.
So she's from Jacksonville, and so she has to drive,
For the holidays.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. The
go
holidays,
home.
she may be down in Jacksonville or in Tifton or whatever, and so it's going to be harder for her to get here. And we really like the fact that we have this video here for YouTube, and so we want to be able to be in the same room when we're doing the podcast. So you may hear the kids one week or Brent, and then later on next year we'll have some women in business show
And
up.
maybe a flower farmer from Orlando.
Yes, gosh, that would be so awesome.
How
I
awesome would
hope
that
the
be?
flower farmer, if there's somebody down there, I hope they find this podcast. I also wanted to touch on the name of the podcast, Coming Into Bloom.
Coming into bloom. How beautiful.
The reason I chose that as the name was because I have no idea what I'm doing. And every other name I came up with was taken. But no, I felt like that was a really good name for this podcast because it is literally coming into whatever it's going to be.
Yeah. We
and
are
so
coming into bloom.
we are, yes. So the podcast is coming into bloom, and we are as well. And I just felt like that was a great name for the podcast.
And I'm going to link in, we're going to do a quote of the day, quote of the week, because this
okay,
kind of
yes.
ties in with what she's just talking about. Because
Okay,
we don't
good.
know what we're doing. But here's a quote from Cameron Dallas.
Hilarious.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You learn the hard way. That's the thing with social media. Nobody knows what they're doing. Cameron Dallas.
That is words of wisdom, Cameron Dallas.
Thanks,
That
Cam.
is so true because you know what? You can post.
You think
she knows where
that
I'm
you
going.
have the best reel you've ever
Yes.
made in your whole life, and you post it and get 4 likes.
Yes.
And you're heartbroken.
or like 200 views or something.
And then you post a behind the scenes blooper reel, and that gets 11,000 views, and you're like,
Right. You never know what is going to hit on social media. I don't think anybody has cracked that code because if they did, I mean,
We'd all be famous.
We would all be famous and we would all be like, they would be teaching a class on it, I'm sure. But I don't think anybody knows what they're doing on social media. I mean, we just recently posted, I think it was TikTok, the shaking of the pecan trees.
and that blew
blew up. Like, It was crazy. But then a lot of people were telling me, like, I didn't know how you got the pecan trees out. I thought you just went down there and shook them, which is hilarious. But it's something that's so normal.
Yep, for you.
Us. And yeah,
not even for me.
Yeah. Oh, really? You didn't know either?
Yeah, I mean, I knew
that's right,
that,
you
but
didn't.
I'd never seen it happen.
Right. So that video blew up, and it was nothing special, but it did.
It was blurry quality. It was
It was
text
my
on.
phone. We should do next
video.
episode, because this has probably gone way too long. But our next episode, we need to talk about your phone versus my phone, because that
Absolutely. You can see it right now if you're watching on Instagram versus YouTube.
yes, if you're watching over here and you're seeing the video up and down, that would be my phone. And if you see the nice cinematic feature, that's Caitlin's. So anyways, yeah, we need to talk about that. We need to make
for
a note.
sure.
So we're going to round out this episode with a little game called Name 5. And so we have what's funny about this, I'm showing the YouTube video people. What's funny about this game is I keep it in my car. And so whenever me and the family are, going on a trip or going somewhere where it's going to be a long journey, I guess you would say, we pull these cards out and we play Name 5. And the kids get aggravated because me and Brent usually are the ones naming the 5 because they don't know.
Right.
So I thought this would be fun to bring to the podcast. And so we'll play it with whoever's on it. And Caitlin's going to play with us today. So we're
Yeah.
going to draw the first card. We have no idea what it's going to say. So.
No. But as she says it out loud, y'all think about what you would name out of these categories.
Oh, yes. If you're driving or working out or, whatever you're doing when you listen to podcasts, definitely play along.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to start with Name 5 rated G movies.
Number 1, Moana. I was thinking about that yesterday.
Okay.
Love Moana.
Yes. Let me think of one. Oh, G rated. So that would mostly be like, Toy Story.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
love toys. I love all of them. It's hard when you do a movie, 1, 2, and 3. They're like usually just the first one's good. To me, Toy Story, all 3 are good.
There's 4.
Oh,
right?
there's 4.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. I just saw the 4th one recently.
Yes.
But yeah, so mine's Toy Story. So that's 2.
I'm just gonna go with, because it's the time of year, Hocus Pocus.
Hocus. Is it G?
Is it?
I don't
it might not. It
know.
might be PG.
Might be PG.
Ooh.
Oh, we should have looked this up. We should not have done this on the fly. But we'll count that
Yeah.
and do another one.
Sure,
just
sure.
in case. Because people are going to fact check us.
Oh, for sure. Can't wait for that 1-star review.
They don't know what they're talking about. Okay, so let's see. What's another good one? Oh, Beauty and the Beast.
That's a good one.
That is so if I had to pick a favorite Disney, like princess or whatever, Belle, all day long. I love Belle.
Nice.
So, okay, Beauty and the Beast. So that's 3.
Is it movies or I forgot?
Rated G
movies. Okay,
yeah.
I was thinking TV shows also, but my favorite Disney princess is Cinderella. I feel like I look like her.
Oh, yes.
I need my lost slipper.
If you had tried out, because when you go to Disney, you have
Yes.
to I feel like you would have gotten.
You think?
Yeah,
I don't
Cinderella.
have the voice.
Well, they train you on that. I'm sure. I feel like I would have gotten Tinkerbell because she's short,
Oh my gosh, you are so Tinkerbell.
or Alice in Wonderland. I see her and she seems to be short at Disney's.
I feel like you could get angry quick too.
True.
Get the red face.
Yes, with Tinkerbell. Yeah. The only thing is, I don't want to fly across the park.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I would probably do it once, but I don't think I could trust them every night. Maybe one time. I don't. Gosh, how many is that?
I don't know.
4. So we did Hocus Pocus, Beauty and the Beast, Moana,
Cinderella.
Cinderella. So we have one more.
No, I was thinking Shrek because we talked about that earlier, but that's probably PG.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know why. I don't understand the ratings on movies.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
what else would be G?
You're the one who has kids, okay?
I know, right? And my kids are like not watching G movies anymore. They're probably watching PG-13. Truth be honest, or truth be known, they watch like Mandalorian, and I don't think any of that is G.
Little nerdy kids.
Oh, speaking of, you said Little Mermaid.
That's a beautiful one. Love her.
Love her too. She is amazing. All her little human things down
Yeah.
in her little tunnel or whatever.
And her
cave.
abusive father.
did. You know, I never thought about that until I got older. I was like, wow, he was kind of a jerk.
He's like kind of the worst,
Triton,
right?
You know. All right, well, that wraps up, I think, our very first episode of Coming Into Bloom. Our next episode, we are going to talk about, is it the Enneagram? Is that
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah,
Your
Enneagram. I have never taken the test before.
I have.
Okay. But what we're going to do, because Caitlin forgot, right? You said she forgot her numbers.
Forgot my number.
So we're going to we're going to find a test for that. And then we'll share that link in episode 2, the actual test that we took. And we're going to discuss what our numbers are and what that means and get into all that. And then we're also going to touch on ASMR, which I think is going to be a very interesting topic.
Excited.
Because it's all the rave on TikTok. I think it's maybe kind of slowly dying. I don't really know.
I feel like if you are already in a niche on TikTok and you don't see it, you know,
that's true.
That it probably
is still there.
I'm sure there are people.
I'm sure there
in
are
the
too.
ASMR.
So
niche.
we will be definitely talking about that, and then we have some big news that we are going to announce on the podcast. So that will also be episode 2.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Like literally, if you know, you know. And then when you hear the end of this, it will tell you how to like purchase our products and where you can follow us. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all the things.
All the things.
So hope you guys have a great week. This episode drops on a Monday, so this is a great start to your week. But I hope y'all have a great week, and we will see you on episode 2.
All right. Bye, guys.